What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I was tagged by my dear friend Dedrick Hicks Jr. Congratulations on just hitting 10,000 subscribers as well. For those of you that just recently subscribed, on behalf of him, thank you. Good man, deserves the love, and definitely for you to check out his content. But he tagged me with an interesting one. 12 fragrances, so one fragrance for every month. So based on that, I thought about it. How would I pick these? I said, well, what's the kind of profile and performance and everything that if I was just going to wear one fragrance for each month, which one would I just be okay with based on the seasons and how it typically goes for me? So it wasn't terribly difficult, but definitely made you think. So we've got 12 fragrances, one for each month. And the whole thing is, if I could only have one for each month, this would be them. So stay tuned. So obviously the first month, we're going to go chronologically, would be January, which is my birth month. So with that, it needs to be one of my absolute favorite fragrances that works in winter time. Because even in the South, you're going to have some pretty cold days in January. And I have to go with Vertus Vanilla Oud in this situation. I mean, it's just going to work so well in January weather pretty much across this lovely nation. Burnt vanilla smell, warm and spicy. A little bit of funk to the oud. It's a little powdery. This is one of the best fragrances I have ever smelled. Ever, ever, ever. Such a great performer, too. Ambery, rich, this earthiness. This is just, God, it's floating in the air. This is just so good. So if I'm just wearing one in one of the coldest months of the year, if not the coldest month of the year in most places, I'm going to go with something warm, cozy, a real separator when it comes to being separate from the crowd, not wearing the standard stuff you're going to find at department stores like Macy's. That's where this bad boy comes in. Because in my opinion, like I said before, it's one of the best fragrances ever made. One of my 5 personal favorites in my pretty large collection of fragrances that there's not too many I encourage you more to sample and get your nose on than Vertus Vanilla Oud. So now my choice for February is a little bit more fun, a little less serious, not as much of a challenge. It's a cherry cola vibe. It's Mancera Tonka Cola, one of my personal favorite fragrances. It's spicy, it's powdery and sweet. It's a little fruity. It's got some zest to it. I love this fragrance. It's, again, speaking of top 5, it's one of my top 5 favorite Manceras, and I have like, I don't know, 35, 40, it's over 40. I have 40 some odd Mancera fragrances at this point, and this is in the clear top 5 from the house for me. Oh, that spiciness. It doubles as like the carbonation to the cherry Coke. Because I think like 90s Coke can style of cherry Coke. Think back to that, those of you from my generation. That's the kind of smell I get from this. Obviously, there's a lot more going on beyond that, but that's what I get up front. I get this rich black cherry smell. Not too sour, but more so a black cherry than a sour cherry. Like I said, with that bright, just sharp, spicy tone. A little bit of citrus, I think, adds to that sharpness of the spice. And then a beautiful cola accord that doesn't have a boozy nuance, a powdery sweet tonka bean feel. This is just a phenomenal fragrance with great performance that I just adore. It's a fun, casual, cooler weather fragrance that I've gotten many compliments with in the time I've spent with it. It's Mancera Tonka Cola for February. March, so still some cooler days and some warmer days. It's kind of a transitional month into spring. Spring break's a thing where I live. That's in March. You have people hitting the beach, for God's sake. So something that still offers a little bit of freshness but has some depth, some richness, and a little bit of darker nuance. I think Invictus Victory, not the Elixir, is my choice here. I did wear this during my move to Florida. Literally the last weekend of July this past summer, and this did just fine. There's a nice rich frankincense smokiness to it, which I'm a big fan for. A little ambery. You do have a touch of sweetness, but this one still ties to that Invictus sweet bubblegum freshness from the original's DNA, where Victory Elixir, its flanker, ventures very far from Invictus's DNA. So this still has enough freshness to kind of pull double duty for cooler days and warmer days. This is a good one. It's a good one. Admittedly, it was not a love at first sniff for me. I just kind of liked it. And it was like, I'll get it later. I'll revisit later. And when I did revisit, I grew to appreciate it very quickly. So if I'm just picking one for March and the kind of weather I expect around here in March, I think the clear choice for me would be Invictus Victory from Paco Rabanne. Now, April here in the Gulf Coast is true springtime weather. You're going to have some hot days, you're going to have some mild days, but it's going to be pretty warm. You can expect your cooler days in the 70s, and you can expect days in the 90s as well. And I think something so fresh, so green, really embodies springtime weather is Maison Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Celestia Forte. This is so good. Lime, mint leaf, petitgrain. It's all the freshness, green, juicy mintiness that I've ever loved. So I found out recently by, a decant I got, was it Jason or was it Jared? I think it was Jared that sent me Zaharoff Torino 21. They're very similar. Torino 21 is this with spices. This is the non-spicy Torino 21. Like, they're very similar to one another, quite redundant, I find. I actually do prefer this, even though I love spices. Maybe it's because I've spent so much time with it over the last 2 or so years. But this is a clear-cut spring favorite, obvious choice for me. If we're talking April, which is going to be true spring weather around here, it's a no-brainer. It's classy. It's got some casual nature to it, so you can dress it up, dress it down. It's one that can pull double duty depending on if it's a casual or dressy occasion. Great quality, great performance, easy to like. It'll draw people in. It's a charismatic, casual type of profile. Just, like I said, an obvious choice for real spring weather, in my opinion. It's Maison Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Celestia Forte for April. Now, May. Not scorching hot yet, but hotter weather. So I still need some freshness. I need more freshness, but I'd also like something alluring that could pull double duty in the evenings, going to dinner. My wife's, one of her personal favorites. I decided to go with Parfums de Marly Percival. For those of you that enjoy the Dragon Ball universe, I like to call this the Golden Frieza of the Fierce DNA. Yes, I know there's like Black Frieza now, I believe, in the new version, which I haven't read the manga. I know I'm sounding nerdy to some of you that don't like that stuff right now, but as far as the animated series, Golden Frieza's the final form right now, so I like to use that Dragon Ball reference. It's the Golden Frieza of the DNA. It's the ultimate form. Powerhouse. Never spray it more than 4 times. It's ridiculous. I go nose blind to it, but it still fills every room I walk into for hours and hours. And my wife loves the way this one smells. Even though it's full of aroma chemicals and ambroxan, cologne, stuff like that, it's pretty good quality for being full of aroma chemicals. It's not loaded down with naturals. Man, this is good stuff. A little fruity, very musky and woodsy with some fresh spice. That's the biggest thing, is the particular type of muskiness that this one features. Almost aphrodisiac-like, fierce, and everything that smells like fierce. Seems to be overall pretty attractive to women, has been for 20 plus years, that DNA at this point. And this is the best version, strongest version, highest quality smelling version money can buy, in my opinion. So it's kind of a clear option for May for me as well. This one wasn't hard to pick, I think, with Parfums de Marly Percival for May. June, we're kicking off summer right with one of my recent summer loves. I fell in love with this fragrance. This is another top 5 from the house for me from Mancera. It's one of the newer releases called French Riviera. I am such an advocate for this. It's such a laid-back vibe. I think it's appropriately named. It's more of a coastal, casual, yacht club, golf, country club type of feel to it in the summertime, because it has the watery, aquatic, and citrus nature, but it also has this casual, creamy, slightly powdery, white floral feel to it that offers a bit of a laid-back yet somewhat upscale feel to it. Great performance without being loud and obnoxious. Oh, so good. So good. Powdery meets creamy meets musky, fresh and airy, watery without being salty. Just magnificent. One I would encourage everyone to try. And for June, this was a no-brainer. No other fragrance. This immediately popped in my head for June because it offers all the freshness I want with some density without being a heavy wear in a high heat. Such a great choice, in my opinion, for June is Mancera's French Riviera. Moving into July's choice, this is all about vacation time for most people when July rolls around. Some people vacation in June, some go in August, some go in off-season, I get it, but the majority, their summer vacation time frame usually falls into July. So I think, what's a vacation vibe? Travel, things like that. Let's think Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Why not? Zaharoff signature Coco Loco. Bowl of tropical fruits, some zesty, vibrant, yet slightly spiced, fresh spiced cardamom, a little bit of blonde cedar, Some sweetness from vanilla, some musk. You have a heliotrope floral hit, but not really all that heavy of a flowery tone. I believe some of the white florals are in there, like jasmine maybe. Such a mood booster. This really is. It is on a little bit heavier side, kind of like how French Riviera is, where there's some density and some thickness, but still being so fresh and so appropriate for the season and for the month in this case. I think it's a great choice for July. Performance is really good on this one. The heat's going to make this thing scream off your skin. At least for me, it does. I think cooler weather, it'll hold it back a little bit. It won't scream off the skin, but it's definitely got the density cut through. Whereas because it's so stout for being a tropical fragrance, boy, you apply this to some outdoor humidity and heat, this stuff will pop. The sillage on this is mag-freaking-nificent. Strongly encourage you trying this one. So another obvious choice for me for July is a Zaharoff Signature Coco Loco. In some years, September's hotter than August. I know it's the dog days of summer in August most of the time, but sometimes September can be just as grueling, if not more grueling, with humidity and heat in the south than August. So for that, I had to have a very citrus dominant freshie. I debated, do I do July? Do I do August? Do I do September? Well, for August, I figured we could go with a beautiful citrus fragrance called Terre au Givree. If you've never tried this one, you are missing out, because this is a beautiful citron grapefruit type of smell, a slight earthy, woodsy, vetiverish type of smell that smells similar to the DNA. It does tie into the DNA, but this is so fresh, uplifting. There's a little bit of fresh spice to give it this crisp tone. It's a very zesty lemon essence grapefruit type of feel. Very, very bright and juicy. So we're spraying that again. Man, this is one of the best openings I've ever smelled. Ever. And I get like 7 hours on skin even in the high heat. This stuff does pretty good when it comes to performance for me. Terre au Givree. It's the freshest of the line. It's the best of the line, in my opinion. Obviously, that's a subjectivity thing, but if I'm choosing summer months here, this is one of the best summertime fragrances I've ever smelled. So, again, for August, Terre au Givree. So even if, like I was saying, sometimes September can be worse than August. So I was very back and forth with July, August, and September on which one do I put where. Because I think all three of them could have went in any of the 3 months. So September, let's assume that in the later in the month, it's not too overwhelmingly scorching. Let's say just half the month. But I like this fragrance in the heat. For as sweet as it is, it may surprise some. I think it works. Got a little bit of a sunscreen vibe, creamy tuberose, 1 million DNA. It's 1 million Parfum from Paco Rabanne. Arguably my current favorite. Yes, I'll always love 1 million Privé as what I think to be the best they've ever done. But wearability, more options for wearability and versatility for me. It's this one. It's a great performer. Wife's a big fan. That's always an added bonus. And I'm a big fan. It's got that bubblegummy 1 million sweet smell, but it's got a creamy tuberose. There's solar notes or some crap like that. I don't remember exactly. But it's got this beachy, almost sunscreen-like, feet in the sand type of smell. It's not aquatic. It's not breezy, but it still manages to give off that summertime beach vacation feel. And I live on the beach. I'm the 3-minute drive from feet in the sand, okay? So stuff like this offers a little bit of uniqueness for my situation, my scenery, and my climate. And I think that's one of the reasons I appreciate this fragrance so much. So this one had to go in one of these 3 summer months, because September's still summer down here, guys. Let's just call it what it is. Summer might be over in some places, but it is not on the Gulf Coast. And this one, it's just a clear-cut choice for me. I knew it was going to end up going in one of these months, and I decided to settle on September for it. If you never tried this one, it's worth trying. It still ties to the DNA while being a little bit unique. They've really done some great work in this line, I gotta say. The 1 million line for all ages. I don't care if you're 50. Don't listen to the internet. If you like it, wear the damn thing. 1 million Parfum needs more love. I think it's incredible, and it's a perfect choice, in my opinion, for September. Now, October isn't super cold here, okay? Do have some crisp days. Gets into the high 60s, low 70s is kind of the best you can expect. So I like something that still offers freshness, but still has density, So warmer days, cooler days, kind of like how I feel about March, for example. It's kind of similar weather. And even though this is discontinued, this is still what I would want to pick. It's not about a recommendation for you guys to try. It's about what I would pick for the situation. And I'm going with Spicebomb Fresh. Long discontinued. So happy to have a bottle in my collection now. I do have, several ml left in my 20 ml travel atomizer that I got from them. So I wasn't in dire straits if I wanted to wear it. But now that I have the bottle, obviously going to wear it more. And this is one. This is one that I could totally get down with for a whole month if I had to just wear one fragrance. And I think it's an ideal choice there because I like my spices when we transition into the fall. Because we do transition into the fall in October, but this is a very fresh sea salt grapefruit spicy fragrance. Still Spicebomb DNA, it's just fresh Spicebomb, hence the name Spicebomb Fresh. This is really, in my opinion, the best Spicebomb they ever made. It's kind of like how I said about 1 million Privé and 1 million Parfum. I think 1 million Privé is my favorite ever, but for situations and more wearing choices and opportunities, 1 million Parfum is better for me. Same thing here. I think their newest release is my favorite currently that's available on the market, Infrared EDP. It's beautiful, but I think that Spicebomb Fresh is the best they've ever done for my taste. So it's kind of a give and take depending on the situation, but in this situation, slides right on in like a perfect fit puzzle piece for October in my area, in my climate. Viktor and Rolf. I'd love for this to focus before I sign out of this segment. Viktor and Rolf, Spicebomb Fresh. Now moving into November, I can tell you firsthand, we had some crisp and cool days. We had some real cold weather to where I can wear some heavier stuff. And I'm a big fan of leather fragrances during the late fall, early winter times. And one that I really appreciate, it's got a Tuscan leather DNA, but the balance is different. It's from Paradis de Sens. It's called Bliss. So Bliss, you get the fruity raspberry smell at the top with the leather and the jasmine, all that good stuff. Very similar to Tuscan leather, but it transitions greatly into patchouli woods, like big time. It's a big time shift. This is a more woodsy, earthy Tuscan leather. Like a way more woodsy, earthy Tuscan leather with top-notch quality because Paradis de Sens is a high-level luxury brand. They use great oils. They use their share of naturals. That smells so good. That smells so good. I like this more than Tuscan leather. I think it's more daily wearable than Bacio Immortel from Argos, whereas that's a classier, a more upscale Tuscan leather style. This is more daily wear Tuscan leather style, without smelling exactly like ombre leather. Like this is much more a rebalancing of Tuscan leather than it is closer to ombre leather. I hope you're following me here. Great performance. Still floating in the air. It's just so beautiful. You still get everything that's lovable about that DNA with its own, like I said, its own changing of the guard with what the main accords featured in the composition are. And I absolutely love that that's how this fragrance came out. And that's why I think it was a pretty easy choice for me in the month of November. It's Paradis de Sens Bliss. Finally, we got December. So regulars of the channel probably took a pretty accurate guess, a safe guess on what I would pick for this month. May he rest in peace, my dear friend E.J. Wells, Happyland Studio, my favorite fragrance he's ever wore that I only wear in December. I had to go with Homme for the holidays, guys. I'm not a big gourmand guy. This is my favorite gourmand fragrance. I love coffee fragrances. This is my favorite coffee fragrance. It's a coffee gourmand. It smells like a fresh brewing pot of coffee while you're eating waffles, pouring syrup over it. Just Christmas morning kind of breakfast. Holidays with the family. EJ did phenomenal work. It's a monster. I've clocked it at 16, 17 hours in the past. I don't do but 2.5 maybe of... So the atomizer's got a little bit of a crookedness to it. I got to adjust it, but like maybe 2 of those. Best smelling fragrance in this video. Best smelling fragrance in this video, guys. Best for last. Best for last. It's been a little while since I smelled it, and December's right around the corner. It's literally, I'm recording this on November 30th. It's tomorrow December starts, and that's when I'm going to start popping this one in and out the rotation. Probably wear it 2 or 3 times in December. But if I could only wear one fragrance in December, Regulars on the channel know I'm not a big gourmand guy. But if I got to pick a gourmand that I'm just going to wear every day for a month, this is such an easy choice. This is an effortless choice. This is one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. And if you like coffee fragrances or you like gourmands, I would strongly encourage you to get your hands on what I believe to be the greatest Christmas fragrance of all time. From the late, great E.J. Wells. This is Happyland Studio Homme for the holidays for the month of December. Dedrick, thank you so much for tagging me. It's not like it's crazy unique, but it's different. It makes you think a little bit differently on choices, because this isn't about recommendations. This is a what would I do, what would I choose kind of video. Obviously, if you see something here that sparks your interest, get out and sample them by all means. But yeah, thank you for tagging me, Dedrick. As per usual, when it comes to tagging, I don't like to put the pressure on anyone. I like to put it out there as an open tag for any content creator across any platform. By all means, if this sounds like something you want to do, tag your it. Please tag me in it. I'd love to see your version of it. I love watching this stuff. Like I said, I don't want to put the pressure on anyone. I typically don't tag anybody by name. I leave it open. And I think it's more fun that way, because anybody that happens to see this, because I watch my share of content creators, and I know there's a decent share of content creators that watch my videos. So by all means, you're tagged. Go for it. Let me know you did it. I'd love to see what you came up with. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What would you pick? What would you pick? When this video goes live, it'll be December. What would you pick as your fragrance for December? I want to ask you specifically that 1 month. Or if you want to break it down and give me all 12 months, hey, put in the comments. I'll definitely check them out. I'd be curious to see what some of you guys come up with. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 12 that I would pick, if I'm going one per month for every month of the year, you give one of these a spray, you'll probably end up thanking me later. You'd be like, ooh, that's why you picked it for that month. Have a good one, guys.